There are many areas in which we cooperate with IATA. We have a very close working relationship, a partnership, I would say. Tony and I both came into our jobs at the same time. We've developed a very good working relationship, as we have with our staffs. And I'd say there's basically two sides of the cooperation. There is the advocacy issues, taxes, regulation, infrastructure, things like that, where we've worked very, very closely, and we've created what I think is basically an effective echo chamber of each other. We share a lot of information. We try to stress the same themes in terms of taxation of airlines and our passengers, same on the regulatory side and overregulation, and the need for improved infrastructure. Then there's the technical or operational side that it carries its own weight. You know, the work with ICAO, work on the environment, work on how you run an airline, aircraft tracking, all those various issues that come up every day that most people don't see and don't think about. The challenges are many. Part of one of the biggest challenges is that in many cases airlines are taken for granted. I like to say that the biggest problem we have is every time someone goes to an airport, there's a plane there for them to take, and that is reflected among policymakers and members of Congress, and too often we are the easy answer to try to get money to fund various things. Right now this year we have the FAA reauthorization bill, and that's both a huge opportunity as well as a potential threat in some ways, because as an example, some people are calling for a further increase in the passenger facility charge, raising it 90%. On the other hand, the idea that we might be able to get fundamental reform of our air traffic control system and replace our World War II radar-based system with something far more modern, like GPS, as an example, is something that we're pursuing very hard because we think it's time. There's bipartisan leadership in the Congress to do it. It's a very difficult proposition, complex. We think we're up to it. We think our government's up to it. So if we could get that, we could help our passengers enormously, less waiting time, better for the environment. Everybody knows the benefits, and we don't think the current structure of the Federal Aviation Administration is sufficient to get that job done. There's matters of funding, there's matters of governance, and we think a nonprofit commercial entity outside of the government could better address the issues that need to be addressed and get our system into the 21st century. Oh my goodness. First of all, happy anniversary, IATA. Aviation has changed the face of the world. Look, the fact that we've got all these people here at the 71st AGM speaks to the issue itself. You couldn't have it. People aren't coming here by train, they aren't coming here by boat, they're flying here. Also, you know, if you look at the way travel, look at the delivery of packages as an example, and e-commerce now in the United States and across the world would not be happening if there weren't planes to get those packages there. We couldn't carry on business the way we do, we couldn't see our families the way we do, if airplanes weren't there to make it happen. It's a modern miracle that happens every day. In the United States, every single 24 hours, 27,000 flights, 2.1 million people. And I like to say to members of Congress, you know, who live in California and Iowa, you're not going home for the weekend without an airplane, so, you know, wake up and look at what the industry does. Everybody wants an airport, everybody wants airplanes flying into their city. Why? It creates jobs, it makes money, it creates commerce.